quarterbacks. We're talking about the guy who might block for him in Week 17. Why? Because someone has to care, and that someone is us. This is what we do. We are ESPN 106.3.
In South Florida, when it's time to get back in the game, there's a name you need to know. HSS Florida. HSS ranked #1 in orthopedics for 15 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. HSS brings world-class care to Palm Beach and Wellington. Whether it's a joint replacement, sports injury, or orthopedic trauma, HSS Florida treats athletes of all ages. Visit hss.edu/Florida to schedule your consultation today. HSS Florida, where champions and everyday people alike get the care they need to stay at the top of their game.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Experience the thrill of Formula One in Miami from May 2nd through the 4th. For the first time, one-day grandstand tickets are available, starting at just $65. Grab a 3-day grandstand ticket and catch every moment of on-track action all weekend long. Choose your vantage point from all over the track with all the breathtaking views. Visit F1MiamiGP.com to explore grandstand options at the 2025 Formula One Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix. The race, that's an experience.
Get ready to elevate your driving experience with the all-new 2025 Range Rover Velar P250 Dynamic SE. A stunning blend of luxury performance and technology that will make every drive unforgettable. Right now, you can lease the new Velar for just $809 per month for 36 months. Yes, only $809 a month for a luxury SUV that sets new standards on the road. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
Apparently, if you're the father of an NBA star, it's free game to go up and try to verbally abuse a 7-foot Greek, 250-pound behemoth of a human being and think he could get away with it. Tyrese Halliburton's father, the stone's on him. How about that? Unbelievable.
Amateur hour.
A midweek edition of Russo and Rizzo, Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Colin Russo here, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. On Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3 from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Also streaming live at ESPN West Palm on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X. Next 2 hours with us right here on ESPN 106.3. The Milwaukee Bucks did something that only one team in 1,610 games, in playoff games, that is. Only one team has come back from down 7+ in the last 40 seconds of a fourth quarter or overtime and won the game. Only one team out of 1,609. Indiana Pacers last night. In their building to seal to move on to the next round. Hoorah, congratulations, they play Cleveland next. Teams were 0 and 1,609, trailing by 7+ in the last 40 seconds of fourth quarter overtime in playoff games. And the Bucks, we've been talking about it all week, classic Bucks fashion.
Doc Rivers fashion.
A meltdown of the ages. A meltdown. Gary Trent Jr. was automatic. And then he turns the ball over twice in a minute to lose them the game. Tyrese Halliburton took over that overtime. He had the ball in his hands every possession, closed out the game, had the go-ahead basket. And then his father decides, who was sitting underneath the basket, when Giannis his season is just finished, within seconds, Tyrese Halliburton is in Giannis's face, talking trash to him. And you could see it, if you watch the video, you could see it on Giannis's face, that he was contemplating the amount of prison time that he would face if he decided to get into a physical altercation with Tyrese Halliburton's father. He was literally contemplating, should I kill this guy? And turned into a whole thing. Players were involved, teams were involved. Halliburton's father apologized. Tyrese had to apologize for him post-game. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
No.
What got into a father to do that after the game with a player that the Pacers could be in play for if he becomes available on the trade block? Isn't that bizarre?
Very much so. And that's why I butt in on you and said amateur hour. I mean, that was the definition of amateur hour last night with what happened with the Pacers and the Bucks. And I'm even going to take it a step further. I agree with you. I think Halliburton is obviously the huge reason they won the game, arguably the reason they won the game outside of Gary Trent and the turnovers. I had a problem with him jumping on the table. Bro, you won a first-round game. All right, Kobe Bryant jumped on the table and said 5 rings when he won a finals game. Well, let's not jump on the score table after you win a first-round game.
I disagree.
So,
they just did something. Let me repeat myself. 1,609 games where this has not happened. And they just did that, and what, the guy can't celebrate?
It's amateur hour for that, and it's amateur hour for the father. Now, Colin, I do want to play the Giannis sound after the game, because he explains in this sound clip, he had no idea it was Halliburton's father until after the fact. That's why I loved when you opened up the show and said he thought about it, and I completely agree. He 100% thought about leveling that fan into the stands, and it turned out to be Mr. Halliburton, excuse me. So let's take a listen to Giannis and what unfolded between him and Mr. Halliburton.
Having a fan, which at the moment I thought he was a fan, but then I realized it was Tyrese's son, which I love. Tyrese, I think, is a great competitor. He was his dad, sorry. Coming in the floor and showing me his son a towel with his face. This is what we do. This is what we effing do. This the F we do. This. I feel like that's very, very disrespectful.
I mean, Colin, this is a grown man. Like, and Halliburton does explain, you know, in the clip we're about to hear too, it's like we're grown men, we'll be able to figure this thing out. But like, what are you doing? Like, and you got to think Mr. Halliburton has seen his son play big games. Like, obviously, maybe not to the level of playoffs.
Eastern Conference Finals last year.
But like, so you get what I'm saying, Kyle. This is like, maybe it is because of the comeback. To your point, maybe the celebration was warranted for Tyrese on the score table. Whatever. We could both agree that the father was completely out of line, and his son in the next clip that we're about to hear specifically explains how he thinks that he was in the wrong.
The incident between Giannis and my pops, I had no idea it happened until I got to the back and was showed the video. Me and my pops have talked about that, and I don't agree with what transpired there from him. I think basketball is basketball, and let's keep it on the court. I'll talk with Giannis eventually about it. Just I don't think that my pops was in the right at all. Everybody's grown men, and we'll just go from there.
All I gotta say is Halliburton's father, Tyrese Halliburton's father, is very, very lucky that Giannis did not decide not to do anything about that. What was the plan there? Like, getting in his face? Getting in his face? I can't think of what do you want, another Malice in the Palace? Really? Who's stopping him? Unbelievable. And I'm surprised you're anti-Halliburton celebrating after he completely took over. He was, keep in mind, context, he was voted the most overrated player in the NBA coming in. The Bucks were the betting favorite coming into the series. And they took them to school. They killed them all season, all series long. And he's an underrated player. And that's the guy who grew roots on the Olympic bench and didn't say a word of the Olympic team. While Jason Tatum was a big story because he didn't get any minutes. That guy was right there next to him and he didn't say one word. I like Halliburton. I think he's underrated. He's a great facilitator. And what? He comes down down 7 in OT, and he can't jump on the table. Only Kobe can do that?
Well, Colin, context. Kobe won a championship. Halliburton won a first-round matchup, and he's going to get his ass kicked in the next round.
I mean, well, Wade's done it. Wade's done it in regular season games for Miami. I mean, he did it on that game winner when he had that floater at the top of the key. He jumped on the table for that.
It's Wade. He's a Hall of Famer.
It's only so
guy won three championships.
You're so into giving the great players this big leash.
Well, yeah, because they're the greats.
This guy who is the best player on his team, who just beat a team in 5, who was voted the most overrated player in basketball, let him celebrate. And he dominated that overtime. He had the ball every possession, and he willed them back into that game.
If this was Giannis, flip the table. If Giannis did this, I'm fine with it. He's won a championship. He's a household name with the NBA. Let's pump the brakes a little bit on the Tyrese Haliburton.
You're stringing it nothing
right?
here. This guy's allowed to do this in his building? Absolutely. No problem. Let him celebrate. The Indiana Pacers is a franchise that has had nothing to grasp on for the better period of 30 years. And this guy just had, all of a sudden, they got a little bit of juice again, just like last year? Yeah, go celebrate. Beat Giannis? Absolutely. Come back down 7 with 40 seconds to go? Absolutely. I'm surprised you're anti
jumping on the scores table.
I think that LeBron, Kobe, and Wade can do stuff like this, but he can't.
They're the greats of the game.
Fine,
Giannis can do it
too. On the team.
too.
He's the best player on that franchise at the moment. He's better than Siakam. He's more important than Siakam.
I'm not saying he's not the best player on his team, but Connie's a fine young player. I think any team in the NBA would want
nothing here. He can't celebrate.
Let's just pump the brakes a bit. It's a first-round matchup.
So all of a sudden, when the Ohio State fans gets all excited for beating Michigan, we can't do it then, but just because the Ohio State-Michigan game is a regular season game. But we're going to celebrate, plant flags on the field, do the whole thing. We could do that? And that's okay? So how is it fair then, with a bunch of no-names that aren't the greats of college football, to do that? But all of a sudden, Tyrese Haliburton, who just won the game for them.
It's a rivalry game.
It's a rivalry.
It's different.
So we're moving the guardrails every chance we get.
You know it's different. You know that's different.
This is the two teams that hate each other.
It's the best rivalry in sports.
Two teams that hate each other. Lillard and Haliburton have been going back and forth at each other the entire series. It came out during the series that Haliburton was voted the most overrated player in the NBA, according to the Athletic anonymous players poll, by 20% of the vote. And this guy just shut a franchise up, who was a championship-winning franchise, probably just sent them into the Stone Age in terms of their redevelopment. Yeah, get on the table. I have no problem with that. Patrick Beverley throwing his jersey in the crowd, yeah, maybe a little much. But when you're the best player on the team who just put on the best performance in a Game 5 to close out a game and to do something that no team in the history of the NBA playoff history has done, yeah, I think that warrants it. I'm surprised that you're here. That's your perspective. After what he just did, Mike, let me rephrase. 0 and 1,609 was the record of teams down 7+ and with the 40 seconds to go in fourth quarter and overtime in the playoffs.
Enters Doc Rivers, the notorious choker himself.
0 and 1,609.
I understand. I'm not going to come off this. Listen, down the line when Tyrese wins an MVP, when he wins the finals and is a player who has a lot of accolades next to his name, fine, you could do that. But to jump on the scorers table after a round one, and maybe to your point, Colin, maybe Wade should have pumped the brakes a little bit in a regular season game. But it's Dwayne Wade. Who am I to tell Dwayne Wade he can't jump on a scorers table?
You want to hold these guys up.
I'm gatekeeping the score. You know what? Fine, I'll do that today.
You want to scoop the water with your hand for only the stars, and for the other guys, screw them.
Yeah, I'm gatekeeping the scorers table. Go do something until you jump on the scorers table and pretend to be Kobe Bryant.
You just did something.
In the first round of the playoffs.
Just did something. If Donovan Mitchell did that, what would you be saying?
I'd say the same thing.
No, you wouldn't.
Go win something.
No, you wouldn't. Load of crap.
I would.
Load of crap.
I would. Go
win
something.
You are so full of it. No way.
I'd tell Donovan to go win something.
No way.
Yes, go win something.
0% chance.
Yes, I would.
I don't buy that. Not for a second.
I would.
Not for a second.
I'm a huge Mitchell fan.
Not for a second. Not with you and your Cleveland ties. You have such goggles with that? No way.
Yes,
no chance.
I would.
Christian, you want to chime in?
I'd hold them accountable, man.
Curious. Let's loop in Christian Cat, our producer, on this. What's your perspective here?
I don't like the who am I to tell D. Wade what to do. Who are you to tell Tyrese Haliburton what to do?
I mean,
exactly. All-star, Olympic player. Who are you to tell him what to do?
Win something.
Who are you to tell him what to do?
Get a couple of MVPs. Go win the finals.
How many Olympic gold medals do you have?
Come on, man. We're going to go to this card. You're going.
Well, hold on.
You're going to that card.
You just said it with Wade. You can't say it with him
because he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the top 50 greatest players of all time.
You can't draw lines based on how your personal affinity to the player.
You can criticize maybe Division III basketball players in how they perform on the court and how they react on the court, but once we get past D3, D2, D1 college and forget about the pros, you can't criticize someone celebrating like that positively.
Fair enough. I guess we're on opposite sides of the spectrum here. I just think
in front of his
you got to win.
It wasn't even taunting of what it was in front of his home fans.
It's and for a little more context, this is where it started from. The dad on the court trying to. I guess, fight Giannis, and then the son on the scores table after he won a first-round playoff matchup. Complete amateur hour on both of their ends.
Please.
Complete amateur hour.
He had nothing to do with the father. So let's erase that. One is not mutually exclusive with the other. I have no problem with
it. Was amateur hour for the Halliburton family last night, and that's my honest opinion.
Not because of Tyrese.
And
did you watch the game? Did you watch? Did you see what Tyrese did in overtime?
I think there's a big difference between Hall of Famers doing what they want to do after the game and Tyrese Halliburton.
You carry so much water if they're all-time greats, and they could get away with murder. But if it's Tyrese Halliburton trying to make a name for himself and trying to take it the next step as an Indiana Pacer household name, and he does something when he single-handedly almost won them that game, and he can't celebrate to Mike's liking. That's stupid.
It's the same thing with how Mike is the arbiter of what is fair for Ime Udoka to say to Steph Curry.
Fake tough guy Ime Udoka.
Yes, you don't like how Ime Udoka is kissing Steph Curry's butt.
And they're down 3-1, by the way. Fake tough guy.
He's been doing NBA Finals. How's that? He's won the Eastern Conference before.
That's real tough.
That's tough. How's that? Not fair enough?
I mean,
that's not fair.
Not
anymore.
really, no.
Oh, okay.
You got to win.
Let Mike
be an
draw
all-time great. Be an all-time great.
Let Mike
before you start talking to LeBron and Steph, guys who've won multiple championships and MVPs.
If God forbid LeBron steals your car, you take the keys.
Have it.
I'll fill it up with gas.
Have it.
God forbid Steph Curry spits on you when he walks by you.
If LeBron James stole my car, he needed it.
See,
he needed it.
This is your
Christian. He needed it.
This is your problem.
He needed it.
This is your problem.
It's something clearly. If LeBron James, who is damn near a billionaire, had to steal my car for any reason, he needed it. I'm completely fine with it. I'm dropping all charges.
I'm kind of with you on that.
Dropping all charges.
Like, there was a real emergency if LeBron James steals your car.
Well, because you have the insurance.
Dropping all charges.
He doesn't need the money. Point being, you'd let these guys get away with murder just if you like them. Only if you like them.
I can't believe we're getting this much heat for this.
Only if you like them.
They're all-time greats. Yes, I have a problem with a young player who hasn't necessarily done enough to warrant standing on a score table like one of the greats.
Wade has not won an MVP. Wade won a finals.
Wade's unreal, though.
Fine.
Wade was the reason you won.
Olympic gold medalist and somebody who was an all-star.
I love Shaquille O'Neal, one of my favorite players of all time. They won in 2006 because of D-Wade. And Bron and those teams in the Big Three, they don't win without Wade either. Wade is a top, damn near 25, 30 player of all time.
Nobody's saying that. But jumping on the scores table because you won a series. You won a series, Mike. You came back down 7 points with 40 seconds to go. And he was the main culprit. That was all him.
I'm gatekeeping that score table, man. You got to do something before you.
You're stringing at something to get angry about. That's stupid. That's stupid.
Before you pretend to be Kobe Bryant, let's win something real quick.
That's stupid.
Okay?
That is stupid.
I know there's
something to be angry about.
I know there's a lot of Kobe dislikers on this show, but until we pretend to be Kobe Bryant, let's go win something.
I'm not a Kobe disliker. I just don't think he's as great as you say he is.
Fair enough.
That's my perspective there.
And I guess I am. Yes. I guess I am angry old man gatekeeping the score table. That's what I've turned into. I'm completely fine with that. And remember, this all stemmed from, I said amateur hour on that and the father trying to, what are we calling that, by the way? What do I call that? The screaming at Giannis? What are we calling that today?
Confronting him.
Confronting?
Yes.
For what, though? Confronting him because this is what we, as Giannis said, bleeping do? Like, huge problem.
The definition is taunt. Like he was,
Fair.
you lose, not, yay, we win.
Yeah, and This is what we bleeping do. You're talking to an MVP of the league and a championship-winning player, by the way, and that's what his dad decided to say.
No doubts there. No doubts there. No problem there. 119-118 final, Game 5 of the Pacers versus the Bucks, a series that has been sort of unimportant. It's on NBA TV, for crying out loud. And Tyrese Halliburton came back in overtime, down 7, with 40 seconds to go. First team in about 1,600 games to do that. Celebrates, Indiana moves on to the next round, and just for this, I hope Tyrese Halliburton averages 29 and 15 against Mike's Cleveland Cavaliers just to show him. And then maybe he could jump on the scores table then, and we'll see how Mike likes it then. We'll see if he likes it then. We'll see if Halliburton's father's allowed into the arena.
Is that going to be a serious question, not trolling?
Yes.
I think it's probably 6 games.
That's
if I had to guess. I think Indiana could win too.
They're fast.
I do think Indiana could win a couple of games there.
I think, now I don't know if the relationship is too strained. I think Indiana should highly consider going after Giannis Antetokounmpo. Highly consider it. Get Siakam. They have picks. Siakam, Benedict Mathurin, send in Jarris Walker, send in Nemhard with a couple of picks for Giannis. Yes.
But Colin, what about the Heat?
If they have the assets, make it work. I don't know how. I don't think they'd be able to make it work, and I don't think they will. But I think the Pacers are a playoff-ready team. We're looking to take the next step. Giannis is out of there. I had no doubt in my mind. He's done.
You think he's going to formally request for a trade here in the near future?
It's for the better of both sides to move on.
I don't see Milwaukee. Listen, I agree with you. I said 2 days ago.
That puts the bow on that season. The bow on that current regime of what the Bucks are.
Kyle, I told you 2 days ago that they probably should just restart that car, full factory reset. But they're not going to. I don't think that with them as an organization, they're not going to want to try to get rid of Giannis.
Yeah,
That's my best
You got to
guess.
be sold in order to trade your franchise. But I think it's for the better of both sides, even for the Bucks. Yeah, you miss out on some ticket sales, but if you want a winning basketball team in the near future, I think you got to move on from him. And this is somebody who had 30, 20, and 13 in the game, who was unbelievable, Giannis. So he doesn't impact the other players winning as much. You need a good team around him for him to be at his best. He's not going to elevate everybody else. You need a Gary Trent heroics to stay in the game.
If we're doing this with the Bucks, if we're telling the Bucks to blow it up, why shouldn't the Heat blow it up then? Shouldn't they blow it up?
They don't have the asset. The asset.
The Giannis to trade for first-round picks.
You get 4 young players and 4 picks. You're not going to get that with anything with the Heat. Nothing. No way.
Even for the Adebayos and the Heroes.
Who's going to trade for Tyler Hero and give you something of worth? You might get a couple picks. You might get 2 decent young players, but you're not going to get anything after 1 for 10 in a playoff game? No way.
It's fair. It's fair. I think you get draft picks, you don't get the player.
So that's not worth it. Not in the NBA's eyes. You want proven players, guys who have played before. Giannis warrants that. Giannis can kickstart a team if he's traded to and from one. That's the amount of capital it would take. More, if not, just as much, if not more than Luka. And Luka got traded for pennies on the dollar. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. A couple closeout games. The Lakers, are they going to survive? The Knicks, Pistons strike back, force a game 6 in that one. Got a lot of reactions coming up on that. And Jordan Travis, Benjamin alum, Palm Beach County native, somebody who really, I guess, was Mr. Florida for a couple of months there with the Florida State undefeated team last year, who had that terrible injury towards the latter half of the year against North Alabama. Medically retired. He was on the Jets practice squad. It never really was healthy, couldn't really get on the field. Medically retired due to that specific injury. We'll do that, do a little bit more. Stick around for it. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Raising Cane's invites you to grab life by the chicken fingers. So get out there. Be you. Do you. Embrace whatever makes you, you. All while enjoying Raising Cane's hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, buttery Texas toast, and that secret recipe cane sauce that makes everything that much better.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Cane's is coming soon to Tamarack at University and Commercial.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Yeah, man. So we back in the club with the bodies rocking from side.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
The Knicks in danger now, going back to Detroit after losing last night. The Detroit Pistons took Game 5, a closeout opportunity for the New York Knicks, 106-103. And that one. The more and more I watch that series, the more and more it becomes apparent that the Knicks get quite a bit of calls, and that the Pistons don't. And whatever that is, Knicks whistle, maybe they're better at fiending for it, if that's the right word. Drove me a little crazy watching that Game 5 last night. Anajar and Levine, if you've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, an accident of any kind, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, they're here to fight for you. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today, because all it takes is one phone call to take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation today. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Knicks, Pistons. The Pacers move on. The Knicks do not move on. You got Tyrese Halliburton's father yelling at Giannis. And then on the Pistons side of things, it's a chippy series nonetheless. But if I'm thinking about New York here, there is such a reliance with them with calls, and it's just so ticky-tacky. It's almost hard to explain because the numbers sometimes don't even back it up. But it's such a bizarre way to officiate on either side. But I give the Pistons credit. That team is not as talented as New York. They do not have as much experience as New York. And they're winning in tough environments, especially at MSG. I don't think this is going to go any further than 6. But I got to give them credit because if I'm thinking about the Knicks here, I think the Knicks are going to go in to Boston and get smoked.
I'm sick of the Knicks. I'm so sick of the Knicks. Between the calls and the yelling about how they're not getting calls when they are one of the teams that gets all the calls, they could lose in this series. I remember, let's rewind last week when I doubled down. I told you, I said the Knicks will win in 5. Colin, that's a game you win. At home, closeout game. Now you got to go back to Detroit. Do I think Detroit's going to win the series? Probably not. But after watching almost every single game and every minute of these Detroit and New York games so far in this game 1, I'm sick of the Knicks. I don't need would I like them for my team's sake that I root for? Would I like them to beat the Knicks, to beat the Celtics? Sure. But at the same time, I'm just tired of watching their brand of basketball. I'm tired of watching Thibodeau ball. I'm tired of watching Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Cat, Brunson, Hart. There's no bench on that team either. That team, I was about to say that team stinks. They don't stink. I'm just sick of them, guy. I really am, Colin. I'm sick of the Knicks.
I give them credit
tired of
because
them.
They were willing to go get Anthony Towns, and that's a rare trade with them in Minnesota, where I think it actually works out for both ends. I think the Minnesota, weirdly enough, is better off.
He stunk last night too. Cat stunk last night.
No, but the Knicks are happy with Karl-Anthony Towns.
Fair.
Karl-Anthony Towns had a very good series.
I misconstrued where we were
going.
And
I think that's a rare situation where both sides are happy coming out of that.
Right. Cat played well in the regular season, Kyle. I think he's played well in games this series, but I don't know. I think Tibbs needs to get more out of him in some of these games. Like last night, once again battling foul trouble. Can't necessarily, predict that he's going to have 5 fouls within the game, but that's kind of a Tibbs style of play, right? They're physical. They're going to get up in your face on the defensive end. But you got to realize, man, if you don't have Cat out there, it's going to turn into Brunson fishing for fouls like it did in, what was that, game 2, and how it kind of did last night.
The way I look at it is when Anthony Towns is on, they win. That's the bottom line. When he is on and hitting shots, did at the beginning of game 4, torched them, they win. So Anthony Towns, I would say, him playing well is more paramount to their success than Brunson playing well. And weirdly enough, I thought the Knicks, ran away with this one when they first made that trade and got Randall and DiVincenzo out of there. And then you look at it and see how the T-Wolves, who on the flip side, who also have a closeout opportunity against the Lakers tonight. I know it's early, but another situation where I didn't think that was the right move for the T-Wolves initially. They had the 2 bigs. But I think looking back, I think Randall fits that mold of what they try to do a little bit better than what Anthony Towns did. And I give them credit for that because they offer you something a little different when you get DiVincenzo and Randall playing a little bit more physical, a little bit more in the paint, a little bit more in your face, and somebody who can match up with somebody like LeBron. Weirdly enough, that rarely happens with 2 marquee players on either side getting traded. That is a win-win for both sides at this point. And the Knicks, they can still blow it. But a win-win both sides for the Knicks and the T-Wolves.
Agreed with you on there. I think Tibbs needs to be better consistently going through Karl Anthony Towns in these playoff matchups. So like I said, you can't really control foul trouble. I understand that. But I go back to the brand of basketball that I think Cat had to adjust to. That is Thibodeau, the up in your face. We're not going to let anything be easy in front of the basket. You're not going to get any easy layups.
He's done well with that.
Turn into fouls.
But he did well with that.
What stinks right now, it's turning into fouls. And his 5 fouls last night.
25 and 12 this year, whatever it is. So he's had a good year.
It's just when I say I'm sick of the Knicks, I'm sick of them because you got to win those games at home like that and wrap up the series. Now you're extending this thing to Detroit, and you're playing with fire. You're playing with fire now, going back to Detroit and possibly a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden later on in the
league. The one thing is Detroit hasn't won in their building yet, so it's not like that home court advantage has been, and they haven't been able to close games either.
And that Thibodeau brand of basketball travels, right? We've seen Tibbs be able to win games on the road within the NBA playoffs. Obviously, not a lot of it has extended to championship appearances, but to your point, they play well on the road. I don't think they're going to lose the series. I just, you said it earlier. I agree. I don't think they have a chance against Boston. I'm kind of sick of seeing this team.
Do the Knicks enter themselves into the sweepstakes of Giannis? If
they should, but who are you gonna trade for him?
You trade Anunoby and Towns.
Okay,
that and some picks, and what the remainder of what they have left, and they don't have a ton.
So Brunson, Giannis, Bridges, Hart, and company. You fill it out from there.
I don't think that's on the top of my list of teams that will put together the best package, but I definitely think you call. You definitely call. Now, it stinks for Karl Anthony Towns, who I think the Knick fan likes, and I think is actually boded well in New York City. But if Giannis is available, you go get Giannis. Not even a consideration. And you go trade. You got to trade your, at least, if you got 3 best players, you got to trade 2 of them. That's how that works, with especially him.
You don't in any world, you don't try to hang on to Towns and throw in first-round picks and try to put in Anunoby and Bridges.
If the Bucks are not going to accept anything close to that.
If picks are involved, though. This is a team that's restarting, right?
I think you put too much stock in picks. I think they want players.
At this point, you're getting rid of Giannis.
Yes, they want picks, but I mean that's not going to. I
feel like they're embracing at the point you're getting rid of Giannis, you're embracing a tank. I feel like.
Yeah, but they have nobody else right now. Who's even gonna field the team next year? They're not gonna trade Giannis just so they could win 9 games for the next 3 years.
Bring in roster fillers and win 15 games.
No, why would they do that? If
get
they don't
more
have
lottery
to,
balls.
But if they don't have to, why would they do that? If the whole goal is to find a top 15 player in basketball, you have one. Your idea is that you have to. Top 3 player in basketball.
It's fair.
I'm being modest. Top 15 in the history of basketball.
It's fair, but I think it's something. I think it's something to maybe look out for and what that package
Knicks,
does look like.
They are not going to.
If there is a package, sorry.
Whoever gives a package for if Giannis, if the Rockets, if it's the Thunder, the Bucks are not going to accept anything less than 2 major impact starters, at least. At least. This is a trade of unprecedented proportions. And you want to bring up the Luka one? Well, they gave up a top 10 player in return for that. Karl Anthony Towns is. And anybody that the Knicks can offer outside of Karl Anthony Towns is not that. So that's why that trade, and that was a fleece, nonetheless. That was a fleece.
I agree. So and I think Cat at this point is probably a better player than AD.
Yeah, if you think about teams that could put together a package for that, I still have my questions about whether Miami has even the assets or the assets willing to give up for that spot. I have to see it to believe it. The Knicks, the Nets keep popping up. They'd have to give up everything and then some because they don't even have the players for it. The Rockets, OKC, if they don't win this year, they call. No doubt they call. You have to call.
They got plenty of young players, and they could keep Gilgeous-Alexander and trade.
Yes.
You could trade Chet Holmgren. You could trade Dort.
You'd have to give up Williams and Holmgren. But you can't keep drafting first round, like top 10 first round picks every year.
Right.
There's too many. There's only, 9 guys in the rotation? They would call. The Rockets would call.
I think Buck fan listening right now is listening with a clenched fist because we're already booking his ticket out of Milwaukee. Is that it? Colin, I think they should. I don't think Milwaukee though is going to willingly want to get rid of a top 5 player.
Not a want, get
NBA.
rid of. I think they're going to have to. They're going to have to. Where can they go from here?
They can't. They have no money. They have no draft picks. They're in purgatory.
Exactly.
And the only way to get out of it is to trade Giannis.
Right. So they see that just as much as you and I do.
Fair. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I know there are probably people out there who would want to hang on to Giannis and whatnot, but the money side, the player side, the development of the team side makes sense. I just don't think ownership and whatever is going to let Giannis walk out.
So you're walking away from a lot of season ticket holders. I understand that.
Yeah,
but for the betterment
the
of the team,
side of it.
I think it would almost be a win-win. I really do. I really do. And part of me thinks, Giannis is probably going to be shipped off, probably somewhere in the Western Conference, and that's going to be the last you see of him with the Milwaukee Bucks. But he's gotten you a championship. He's in the prime of his career. You're not necessarily figuring it out in a year. You have a terrible coach that you have no future with. I don't want to hear about Doc Rivers. I would retool. And the best way to retool is to get as many young players, proven players, at least some of them, and picks into the building as possible. They don't have their first-round pick until 2031. 2031. You're not going to see Damian Lillard for a year and a half, at least.
You mentioned that was worst-case scenario, by the way. That injury, Colin, to Lillard. Worst case scenario because now...
And add on to that. Losing the way they did last night was also worst-case scenario.
But like with Dame, Kyle, first off, I don't know who would want to trade. Let's say he didn't get hurt, right? You'd probably be able to trade Dame to somebody. Now that he's hurt, you got no value there. No one's going to take him on while he's out of commission.
No, you're stuck with him.
For a year.
That's
yeah,
you're
correct. And then I found the team. You mentioned him earlier, Houston. If you're Milwaukee, take Jalen Green, try to swindle Şengün in that, and go from there. Take those 2 players and build around that and get a couple of draft picks.
Yeah, they have enough of a mixture of picks and players where they could probably put together, I don't know who they value too much in that building, but they could probably put together a package. It's a matter of if you can put together the package without sacrificing your whole team.
Colin, with this loss last night to the Bucks, have we officially entered the Giannis sweepstakes?
I'm close to declaring. As long as everything goes what I think is going to happen, there's no way he's going to be happy sticking around there. There's no way. His agent is not going to let that happen. There's no way. And the one thing I'll say back to whether Miami can jump in, what is Miami going to do? They're going to trade everybody and then some for Giannis, and then it's just going to be Giannis and the Misfit Toys in South Beach?
Right.
That's going to be it? You're not going to win any games like that.
Kyle, we already saw that with Milwaukee.
Right. That's it.
That's what it was.
Giannis is not a make everybody around you so much better player. He's not that.
With all due respect to Damian Lillard, who's a top 75 player of all time probably, I mean, that's what it was this year. Dame was hurt all year. I question if he even wants to be there. It might be unfair for me to do that. I question if Dame even wants to be there.
Lillard. Lillard has not been healthy for the 2 postseasons they've had. I cannot knock him.
God, that trade was a nightmare.
Yeah, it was. You got one of the things where you got to give the Bucks credit because they tried. Yeah. They tried to accommodate him. They signed his brother for God's sakes and let his brother sit on the end of the bench. I mean, they've done everything they can to keep that core together from that championship team in 2021. They've changed coaches to Giannis's liking. They got rid of Adrian Griffin probably to Giannis. Giannis was probably done with Bud. They got rid of him. Then they brought in Doc Rivers. I'm sure Giannis liked him in some aspect. They've accommodated him every step of the way. It just hasn't worked. So you can't blame them for trying, but now they've backed themselves into a corner, and the only way out, the only way to jump out without burying yourself into a hole for the next 5 or 6 years is to trade Giannis. That's the only way. And that's why I don't think Miami will be in that, because I think Miami sees that. What are we going to trade out of Hero, 5 picks, and Davion Mitchell for Giannis? Because that's what it would take.
The whole team.
Well, and then it's you got Milwaukee, but Miami. That's it. So I think that this would be a situation where it would have to be a playoff-ready team that has assets and players that they could shift that are looking to take the next step. Houston's probably not winning a title with what they have right now. The Indiana Pacers are probably not winning a title. I think that's a sleeper. The Pacers are probably not going to win a title with the roster that they got right now.
I don't think they trade them intra-division. What do you see them 4 times a year?
Especially last.
Yeah, you're not going to do that.
You do it for the best package. You do it for the best package.
Sure.
But I think they can put together a package.
It makes more sense for the Western Conference. And that's why I pinpointed, and you did too, the Houston Rockets. Take Jalen Green, try to swindle Şengün and some first-round picks and go from there.
That's their 2 best players, but yeah. That would make sense.
Maybe Jalen Green, leave Şengün out, Şengün, if I'm pronouncing
They
that
would
wrong.
definitely take Şengün.
Okay.
They would definitely.
Over Green?
Yes, yeah.
But the Rockets, I feel like, would be more than, they'd be willing to listen to Green maybe more. And listen, I'm speculating. Green is the one that has struggled in the series against Golden State.
Well, he's been the most erratic player. Şengün's their best player. Şengün is their best player. He's the most reliable player. And he's been playing well.
Green, when he's on, that kid can fill it up.
Yeah, but that kid never fills it up. That's the problem. Like, you need somebody reliable, and he's not reliable. I would say the Rockets make sense. I would say the Pacers are a sleeper. Think about it. The Knicks, I'd have a hard time seeing the Knicks. I don't think they don't have enough depth. They just give away all their picks for Mikal Bridges.
The Miami Heat fan is screaming through their dial, the Heat, Colin.
888-760-3776. If your team, let's get Giannis to Miami, let us know exactly how that's going to work. 888-760-3776.
To that point, is there a way to hang on to Hero and or Adebayo? How does that work? I'm interested in that.
Definitely not.
I don't think so.
Definitely not.
And I told you already, that's going to turn into Milwaukee round 2. So why do it?
They're not going to do that.
Why do it?
I do not think they're going to do that. Playoff-ready team that needs to take the next step. That's the team that go against Giannis. That would be my takeaway. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. Taking a time out here. Back into this.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar and Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast, professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
It's been a chilly start to the year, but don't let the rising temperatures catch you off guard. Hey, it's Colin Russo, and since 1960, John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing has proudly served Palm Beach County, keeping homes cool and comfortable. Now's the time to upgrade your AC with great financing options. Plus, ask about the Cassidy Care Club, providing year-round peace of mind. Cassidy is part of our local community and supports organizations like the YMCA and the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association. Keep cool with Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Find out more at CassidyAC.com.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
I might be too strung out on compliments.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. Streaming live on YouTube on your radio dial at ESPN 106.3 and on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter /X at ESPN West Palm. Jordan Travis, somebody who made a name for himself in the Palm Beach County area, and somebody who was the hopeful for Florida State getting them back to the promised land, who suffered that terrible injury in November of 2023. He went to the Benjamin School up in Palm Beach Gardens, was a star in this area, was a star for Florida State, has announced today that he is medically retiring from the game of football. He is walking away. He said essentially that his leg just didn't heal the way it was supposed to, and it never really was the same after all the rehab process. And this is this is 18 months we're talking about, more. And for somehow reason or other, I don't know enough about these leg injuries. It's almost Alex Smith-like. He was never able to get it back to what it was meant to be, and he's walking away from the game of football after being a Jets 5th round pick in 2024. Never really got on the field. Never got in the field for the Jets. Never really is able to practice. It's a shame. It was almost sad. You got to think about somebody who was important to this community, was important to the state of Florida, and basically was the missing link in getting Florida to the college football playoff and having them in contention for a national championship. And that team probably was in contention for a national championship with Travis.
Yeah.
And now he has to walk away from the game of football because of a leg injury. It makes you think. Just think about it. 18 months this guy was probably rehabbing that leg.
Yeah, you hate to see what could have been, right? That's always the question we ask when something horrible like this happens. You know, what could have been? I go back to even a player like Marcus Dupree. You know, the running back from all those years ago. What could have been if he didn't get the injury? I go to Derrick Rose. You know, what could have Derrick Rose been if he didn't get the injury? I'm sick for him. And Colin, I really like his story too. You know, a 3-star recruit goes to Louisville, plays in 3 games, and then transfers to Florida State, and he's there for 5 years. You know, because with the COVID year, you get another year. He had a great 2022, almost threw for 4,000 yards, had 24 touchdowns.
He's a Heisman candidate in their undefeated season.
And then 2023 plays 11 games. He has a 20 touchdown to 2 interception ratio. You have that team ready to win, and I know they did win the ACC, but ready to win the ACC, ready to make some noise in the college football playoffs, somewhere they haven't been since Jameis Winston, and to suffer an injury like that, it really just stinks. And I feel bad for his family. I feel bad for him. And it's just a terrible situation all around. You wish you could see him play some football still.
We always complain about the NIL, but players like him is the reason why you got to support the NIL to a degree. Because the NIL, that is why you do the NIL. That is why these college football players, especially in football, who make the most money, they put themselves on the line consistently. And they're really, truly, it's taken for granted when that phrase is thrown around. They're one play away from it all being over. Mm-hmm. And that was a situation where you were one play away from it all ending. And that's why you got to make money when you're in college. That's why these guys don't want to stay that extra year. That's why these guys want to transfer and play, because they want to maximize their financial contributions to the game of football, just as much as being a great player. But that's why you support it. So I know Mike and I are guilty of this too. Why we yell at the NIL, unregulated, too much money, it's a pain, it's unpredictable. Different teams have different amounts of money that they could allocate.
Yep.
Jordan Travis is a prime example of why you did it in the first place. That why you, implemented it in the first place. Because now, hopefully, I don't really know enough about it. He was a draft pick, the whole thing. I don't really know the money side of it with the Jets.
He's a fifth round pick.
Right.
So.
And I don't know the money side of what his contract was or what they're going to void, if they're going to void anything, whatever that would be.
And the medical side of it, too. Medically retiring. I'm assuming you're getting some compensation.
Absolutely. And with the Florida State, who I'm sure he was making money for the 2 years that he was under NIL regulation. It's a shame. That's the ultimate what could have been. And I was down on Florida State because I don't think they should have gotten in post Jordan Travis. I don't think so because they brought in those two backups who were terrible, terrible players.
Agreed.
And then they go in and they don't get even despite being undefeated in a bad ACC, they go get it and then they get their doors beaten off them by Georgia. That's why I was down on Florida State getting that. And I'm openly a hater about that. But if they had Travis, you make the playoff. And he's invited to New York.
Right.
It's a shame. That's a what could have been team. And now you wonder when Florida State can get back to that.
That's what I was going to say. Like, is Norvell ever going to be able to get that program back to what it was when Jordan Travis was playing?
That injury was the beginning of their downfall. That injury was the spiral. And I know they kept winning games. It didn't start with the Georgia game. It started when Jordan Travis went down.
Yeah, I agree. But Norvell punting and not playing any players in that Georgia game and having that basically be the scrimmage. I mean, even Kirby Smart had some words after the game, like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? And what did we say last year when Florida State was struggling? Instead of worrying about why you didn't get in, you should have been worrying about the next year. Listen, I know we have a lot of Florida State fans in the area, and listen, we got to be careful who we say this to within our own office as well, but it's to the point where you probably are onto something. The Jordan Travis injury is where this all started.
That is where it all started.
That's the point. It all started
in November 2023.
Did it get more national? A more national spectacle when you didn't make the playoff and when you played so poorly and didn't play anybody against Georgia? Yes, but this is where it all started.
Is he the biggest what if in Florida State memory, or recent memory that is? 888-760-3776. Jordan Travis medically retires. Last known for, I guess, his heroics in the Florida State season. I believe they came out that season. They beat LSU the first game of the year. Am I right on that? Yeah, they did. And that was a Heisman Trophy winner who was on that team, too.
Yep.
And undefeated, that's a what if. That's a what if. That's why you had the NIL. And unfortunately, that was the beginning of the slip and slide, everything crumbling down of Florida State athletics.
And we all agree, Colin, like, let's give us some credit. It's not that we're saying get rid of NIL. We just sanction it. You know what I mean? Like, figure out a way to, not make this the Wild Wild West. Like, I am all for NIL and paying the players, so let's start putting some regulations on it. That's all we're saying on it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
That's it.
And a year and a half, you can't even imagine what that's like, really.
Yeah, so, Colin, 2023, they beat LSU 45-24. Jordan Travis threw for 342 yards.
And we know his brother very well, works out of here, Devin Travis, all the time, former Little League star.
Great guy.
For East Boynton Beach, who was on that 2003 Little League World Series championship team that was the runner-up to Japan, led off that team. He's in the studio all the time. Does ACC Network play-by-play, the color. And Jordan is somebody who had such a namesake in the area of Palm Beach County. So I don't know what the next steps are for him. Maybe it's coaching. Maybe it's doing something in the area, a la Willie Snead. Maybe he opens up a school. Who knows? But now you got to think, for a 24-year-old to find the next steps of your life, your career, when everything's been football, I wonder what that's going to be for him. Mm-hmm. My guess is coaching, if you're up for it. Alex Smith was already done with a pretty good career after he medically retired.
Yeah.
And rarely you see that. But now Jordan Travis, you got to find what's going to be that next thing.
You think maybe you take some time off for a little bit and then reevaluate.
But he's 24 years old.
Right. Your whole life in front of you.
You get your whole life in front of you.
God, 24.
Go.
That's young.
Go join the Florida State staff. Coach up Thomas Castellanos. Maybe he could win some games.
Oh, God, the guy who quit on the team. So they go from Jordan Travis, one of the recent greats, to DJU. What happened last? Yeah, Kyle, you've convinced me. You've convinced me. It all started when Travis got hurt.
That is it.
That is it. It all started when Jordan Travis got hurt. You could go right back to that.
And now you're hoping on Thomas Castellanos to go above 500.
The guy who quit on...
Now I'll die on this hill. The guy who quit on Boston College.
Correct.
Walked out of the building.
And help me out, coach there, Texans.
O'Brien.
Billy O'Brien. He walked out on Billy O'Brien.
Walked out on them. And I'll sit on that hill and say that there was no chance that Florida State team deserved that bid. No way.
I'm with you, too. You can't put that
Not
team
a chance.
in the playoff, man.
Not a chance.
And especially
With
after
Brock Glenn. Not a chance.
Kyle, we're ruffling feathers. But especially after how good that Michigan and remember how good that Wolverine and Tide game was in the semifinal? It ended on a goal line play with Jalen Milroe.
Great game.
Unreal game. Great game. Unreal game.
And Georgia lost one game in 2 years, and then they didn't make the playoff that year.
If Florida State would have shown up against Georgia, kept it close, hey, beat them. All right, you got an argument. Instead, you decide not to play anybody and have that trickle down into recruiting and into what the team's going to look like next year. It was a disgrace.
No way. Did not even come close to deserving that bid. Throw them in there for what? They got destroyed by Georgia. What, they were going to walk in and beat Michigan? Really? Am I under that impression?
Do you remember?
No, that team was not that good. It was Jordan Travis that was the ultimate big game player for them. He elevated them to no end.
Do you remember how bad that ACC championship game was?
It's terrible. Who'd they play?
It was.
I'd have to check.
Colin, let's put it this way. I have it in front of me. They played Louisville.
Yes,
it was a 16. It was a 16-6 victory. And the leading passer in the game was Glenn, and he had 55 yards. And like I said, we have a lot of Florida State fans. I understand that. But you're going to put in a team who threw 55 yards passing. 55 yards passing to go play Michigan, one of the best defenses you'll ever see in college football, ran by Jim Harbaugh and company.
Yeah,
Come on.
I remember they played Florida, too, and the Florida team stunk. That team was awful. And they beat them, and all the Florida State fans were waxing poetically about how they could still do it, and we could still win it all. No.
It was a mixture of that Glenn kid and Rodemaker, the quarterbacks.
Tate, that was his name, Tate. Yes,
it was
right.
Tate Rodemaker, by the way.
And Brock Glenn, who was there last year.
Brock Glenn, yeah.
Oh, my God, those guys stunk. Those guys stunk.
Former 5-star Brock Glenn,
No
by the
way should that have team and made the playoff. No problem. Because if it really meant that much to you, this is where I give Norvell crap. Because if you're Mike Norvell and you really wanted to prove something to the fans, to the faithful, they were trying to spite the college football playoff and spite it by not showing up in their bowl game.
Right.
When a team that, for every reason, could have gotten a bid to the college football playoff in Georgia, a team who's lost once in 2 years, and they just lost to Alabama in that SEC title game. They proved a point because they won 63-6.
63-3, Colin.
63-3.
Carson Beck, 2 touchdowns. Gunnar Stockton, 2 touchdowns.
63-6.
Rumor is they're still scoring.
They proved a point. Florida State had every opportunity that year to prove a point to the playoff, to the fans, and even to the recruits. But instead, they got ran over by Georgia. Ran over. Because they quit. They quit. That's a reflection of the coach. Terrible situation, but it led Norvell to make some bad decisions.
DJ,
they should have tried very hard in that game. You still probably wouldn't have beat them. But I mean, geez. I mean, can we do 30-16? Can we get away with that?
And there are another reason I'm being hard on Norvell too. That team last year was not a 2-win team. They had more talent than 2 wins. It was the culture and the precedent you set when you got your doors blown off you 63-3 and signed a quarterback, hindsight 2020, that really didn't care about winning football games.
And it all started with Jordan Travis going down against North Alabama.
That's the root of it. Yeah. Fair play to you, Colin.
That was the beginning point, the catalyst of a program almost crumbling over an 18-month period. How about that?
Almost?
How about that? Now you got a hole to dig yourself out of. Jordan Travis, we feel for you. We really do. Hopefully you're back in Palm Beach County doing something for the community, coaching, doing something that makes you happy.
And
seriously. And I know we just rained on Florida State, but that was more about the team. That was less about you.
Correct, but and also if you're if Jordan does hear this, I mean it all went to hell when you went out. That's how important you were to that team and to that program.
Shows how good he was.
Exactly. And with colleagues went to Benjamin, Benjamin, a powerhouse Go hit up Coach. God,
He's gone.
He's gone. Okay, he's gone.
He's gone. We're not going to do that.
He's gone.
Coach is gone.
Got it. He's gone.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo. Jordan Travis, biggest what if? Recent Florida State memory. Is that Florida State team biggest what if? 888-760-3776. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat doing a little 5 and 5 next. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll, safety's the goal.
Wing Wednesday, brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Sometimes old school just sounds better, like a crisp cassette, a booming stadium chant, and ESPN radio. Stick with the station that never fumbles. ESPN 106.3. No gimmicks, no nonsense, just sports the way it should be. Stay classic. ESPN 106.3.
This Mother's Day, give Mom a gift with endless possibilities. Give her a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach. The Breakers gift card lets you treat Mom to all the things she loves, like irresistible oceanfront getaways, lessons at the Breakers' new golf and racket club, pampering at the exquisite spa, and shopping at the resort's stylish collection of boutiques. Gift cards may also be used for dining at the Breakers' renowned restaurants and bars, including Echo, Henry's Palm Beach, HMF, and Flagler Steakhouse. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a $500 gift card online at thebreakers.com, you'll receive an additional $50 on that card, compliments of the Breakers. You can never repay Mom for all she's done, but a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach is a great way to start. Visit thebreakers.com today.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
Is your air or water flowing perfectly in your home? If the answer is no, EDS is yes. Theo here, and for me, EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing is my go-to, and it should be yours too. EDS is Palm Beach County's trusted AC and plumbing expert. They'll make sure your air and water flow perfectly. EDS is a trained comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. Go to edsisyes.com. That's edsisyes.com. When comfort matters, EDS is yes.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
You know, the last thing I need is Florida State fans who are in this office to come to me and tell me that beating Louisville in the ACC championship game 16-6 was the big statement that Florida State needed, that this team could compete with the Michigans of the world who went undefeated in their entire season. I don't need to listen to that. I really don't. I don't. And under the impression that Michigan, Alabama, whoever was they played, that they would have held them to 3 points the entire game. Well, when they're 3-and-outing every possession, at a certain point, they're going to score more than 10 points.
That's a Michigan team that had J.J. McCarthy and Blake Corum.
I can't listen to that.
And one of the best offensive lines in recent Big Ten history.
I can't listen to that. And think about if you're Georgia. Georgia went 13-1, too, in the SEC. That was the first game they lost in 3 years. They lost one game in 3 years.
And they
did not make the playoff. They did not make the playoff. And they didn't complain. What'd they do? They just blew the doors off of Florida State.
Listen, recency bias is everything with that college football playoff committee. 16-6 to Collins Point was not getting you in. Let's rewind to when the Buckeyes, who probably didn't have any business making the playoff, made the playoff because Cardale Jones and company kicked the snot out of Wisconsin. They were without their starting quarterback, but they put up about 50 points on an unreal Wisconsin team that year. Recency bias matters. 16-6 and 55 yards passing by Glenn. You were never getting in. You never had a chance with that game in the ACC championship.
I'm looking at it right now. That Georgia team had 2 games within one possession all year. 2 games. And it was the game they lost to Alabama, the 27-24 game. This is in 2023. And the other one was Auburn when they won 27-20. They beat ranked teams left and right. Mizzou, 30-21. Ole Miss, who was 10 at the time, 52-17. To Tennessee, 38-10. This was Georgia.
Back-to-back champs.
They don't get it. I didn't see them parading in the streets of Athens that they deserved a bid to the college football playoff. It's a shame. Jordan Travis went down. The team changes. You think about contextually the type of game that the team is going to put on versus the resume that the team put together. That's why Florida State does not get in. 2023 Florida State.
We got berated.
Jordan Travis medically retired, of course, from the New York Jets after the last game he ever played was against North Alabama for FSU in that undefeated season where they did not make the playoff. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3, second hour here. If you missed any of the program today, want to listen back, go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. All those great places. Christian Cat, our producer of today's program at the City Play Studios. How are you?
Doing great. Found something in my golf swing today. Stripe them at the driving range. Never felt better.
Nice, dude.
So your golf game is starting to take a step forward. You've been playing a lot of golf recently.
I've told you yesterday, man, the rates are dropping once that calendar switches to May tomorrow. So I will be on the links. Hopefully, the plan is to be golfing at least 3 days a week, hopefully 4.
So when's that tee time? Or like 7 in the morning?
Yeah, I'm going to play at Lost Lake in Hope Sound, the club at Lost Lake. It's a great golf course. If you are looking for a membership, go be a member there. I promise you, you will not regret it. Go in there on Friday, 7:15 a.m. tee time. Going to shoot some content with Cade Shumsland. So look out for that on ESPN West Palm's YouTube channel. And I'm playing in, I think it's Lake Worth or Boynton Beach, right in that border on Sunday.
Nice.
Is that that's the ultimate pastime for you? If you have free couple hours, you're going golfing 10 times out of 10?
As of 2 years ago.
10 times out of 10.
I am
nothing else ever.
I am the most stereotypical guy who learns how to play golf guy of all time. Whenever you fall for it and fall for it hard.
You
become addicted, and that's all you want to talk about, and you bombard people with golf information that they did not ask for, but you do not care.
That's where you are right now.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Addicted.
What is your handicap? Do you have one?
It's not good. I broke 100 for the first time 3 weeks ago, so I'm right around 30.
We're getting there.
Yeah. I can go to any public golf course, play the blues or the whites, and not feel self-conscious, which is a very...
Is that a new development for you?
That was a new development maybe 4 months ago. Like, it's a good spot to be in because now I don't have to look over my shoulder and feel bad after I top the ball off the tee box 4 times in a row.
Do you judge the guy who tops off in the tee box 4 times in a row now?
I do a radio show with that guy from 2 to 4 p.m. on ESPN 106.3.
So
I do not judge him.
But you didn't want to feel judged, but you still probably got judged. So now you're just giving it to the next guy? It's like one of those things?
Well, no, I put the work in. I didn't just show up to the golf course and expect things to change. You go to the driving range often. You watch a lot of YouTube videos. You try to figure out what you're doing wrong. And you put the blood, sweat, and tears to get better at your golf game.
And the other guy who you host with 2 to 4 does not do that?
His level of commitment to the game of golf, it is not compared to mine. But he'll get there.
Okay. Interesting.
This is the summer where Theo breaks 100.
Nice.
He's going to break 100 this summer without... That's a lot of less commitment comparatively to you, who just did it, right?
But he's realized this. He said you can't half commit to the game of golf. It will spit you right out.
You think he'll do that?
I think he will.
Okay. You're going to be a pseudo golf coach?
No.
Can you coach somebody?
Absolutely not.
I agree.
I can't coach my girlfriend. I try a little bit. I tell her what happened, like why that ball went that way, but I cannot coach anybody. You're
not there
in no position. And honestly, like some of the best in the world are in no position because they cannot relate to the struggles that you are. We're all individual people.
15 strokes off the handicap. Maybe we could start talking about getting you a couple clients, huh?
I don't know. I think I'm more in the need of getting to be somebody else's client. That's the next step.
Fair enough. Christian Cat, let's do a little 5 and 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
The Indiana Pacers beat the Bucks in 5 games. Taking care of business last night in Indiana, Tyrese Haliburton took over the game late and hit the go-ahead layup with 1 second to go in the game. I couldn't see it because I don't have the NBA package, but I watched it on NBA on TNT as they were recouping the game. How impressed were you with Haliburton?
I love Haliburton. I think he's weirdly enough, everybody says he's overrated. I'm already at the point he's underrated. He was on the Olympic team. Maybe he shouldn't have gotten it above somebody like Jalen Brunson, but he parked himself on that bench. He never played, and he didn't complain once. And after all the hoopla about Jason Tatum not playing on that Olympic team, and Jason Tatum's a better player than Tyrese Haliburton is, but I almost respected that. He sort of knew his role. He knows his moment. He's got his team, and that team won 50 games.
Yep.
That's an underrated team, and he is the catalyst of that. Siakam might be the leading scorer, but he is a true point guard. He's a facilitator. They play fast. They play fast because of him. Now, do I think the Pacers are a steady step under, a shot under everybody else in the Eastern Conference, or at least the high teams, the Cavaliers, the Celtics, maybe even the Knicks? Yeah. But I think they're in a position where they might be really, really good with a couple more moves. So I'm high on Haliburton. I'm actually high on the Pacers.
I was really impressed with what Tyrese did last night. 9 assists, 26 points. I wish he'd not shoot as many threes. I feel like sometimes his crutch, Colin, if I could be a little critical, is he takes too many bad threes. But other than that, really good game. They won the game because of him. I have a problem with him jumping on the scores table, obviously. We debunked that a little bit earlier on in the show, but very impressed in 42 minutes and overtime what he was able to do, and he was the reason they won that game. Let's not get that twisted.
Number 2.
Flip side of the coin, the team that lost in 5 games, the Milwaukee Bucks, bounced in the first round again. I believe it's the 3rd year in a row where it's a first round exit for the Doc Rivers, for the Milwaukee Bucks. I ask you again, where do the Bucks go from here? Are one of Doc Rivers, Giannis Antetokounmpo, are they gone? Are both going to be here next year in Milwaukee? Or neither of them going to be in Milwaukee next year? What's the fate of those two fellas?
The thing is, like, just tanking's not going to do anything for them. They need picks. They need players. And they don't own a first-round pick until 2031. So unless they plan on figuring something out with Giannis in the short term, they're going to have to utilize him to get something for the long term. Trade him, start fresh, try to recoup some assets, and they will because you got control of the player with the contracts. I would say that's the next move. That's the next best move for Milwaukee.
They really are in one of the worst spots you could possibly be in the NBA. Not a lot of picks, not a lot of good young players. You're star heavy with Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Sound familiar?
Yeah, called Dame Lillard. Injury that's probably going to keep him off the court for next year and half of the year after that. I mean, you wonder if Dame Lillard is ever going to put on the jersey again. You wonder if Giannis is ever going to put on the jersey again. And to Colin's point, he's right. The only way you could get out of underneath this to get young players and get picks is to move on from a top 5 and arguably a top 50 player of all time in Giannis Antetokounmpo. I do not envy the Milwaukee Bucks and fate of Doc Rivers. He's not fired already? That guy still has a job as of April 30th, 2025, 5:15, the 5 at 5, presented by Flagler Credit Union.
Number 3.
That brings us to a topic that I'm introducing to the conversation because the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill has made a statement about the viral CBS interview where Bill Belichick is interrupted in his interview by his muse, his girlfriend, his kind of business partner, Jordan Hudson. Belichick says this, quote, "I agreed to speak with CBS Sunday morning to promote my new book. Prior to the interview, I clearly communicated with my publicist that any promotional interviews I participated in would agree to solely focus on the contents of the book. And if you haven't heard it yet, when the interviewer asked Bill Belichick, 'Where did you meet your girlfriend?' She cuts everybody off and says, 'We're not going to answer that. Next question.'" Are we just at the start of something very bad in North Carolina with this Bill Belichick situation?
I don't think it has anything to do with North Carolina. I think he's going to do a good job. But this is weird because this is like a pure nightmare. Because if you're going to talk about how him and his 24-year-old girlfriend, a guy who's 73 years of age, with a 24-year-old girlfriend, listen, I'm not going to say it. I have an assumption of where I think they met.
Well, what's purported is a flight to Palm Beach.
Right.
Love happened right here.
A flight of Bill Belichick is flying, JetBlue, New York to Westchester to PBI nonstop, and they met on the flight? Maybe. I have my own guesses as to where they met. I have no idea. But the one thing I'll say is you couldn't make up a story, a better one. You couldn't come up with something. This is a PR thing. Like, if you were so nervous about you didn't like the optics of the way you actually did meet, how about you make up a story?
That was the hard-hitting question, that muck-raking media asking, "Where'd you meet your girlfriend?"
That's it. That was the second question. He goes, "Hey, you look happy with her." He's like, "Yeah, I am happy with her." He's like, "Where'd you guys meet?" And she's like, "Nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that."
Man. Are you
not
serious?
doing what? What do you mean? What? What are the most bizarre interviews ever? You clench up just watching it. It was so awkward.
This is before the season starts, by the way.
Right.
This is all before.
And first off, congratulations to Theoretically Speaking for making Good Morning America.
Yeah,
that was really cool this morning.
What happened there?
So hang on, before you go, Christian. So I saw Theo's Instagram story. I immediately texted Theo, and then my mother actually saw it and sent me a video of her recording because she watches Good Morning America. She goes, "Mikey, your station on it, Theo and CCAT." How cool.
Yeah, normally this would be Theo like sending out a clip or maybe someone approaching Theo that works for Good Morning America asking if there's anything on this. No, this is completely random.
It's awesome.
We found out, just as everyone else did, they probably just Googled ESPN Bill Belichick.
That was my
ESPN
thinking.
Belichick Hudson. Because of our SEO of the video we posted, they discovered it themselves.
It's funny because I imagine a producer put that together. It was like the background, right? Like she's telling the story, and they have to get the clips in order to tell the story visually. And they just took the live stream of Theoretically Speaking, and they just stuck it right in there with audio.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It was
And
Christian
we don't
talking.
know. We don't
Yeah.
know anybody from Good Morning America. We don't know any of the producers. So they just took that. You think that was it? They just looked it up and then found the first thing they could see?
They talked about it on First Take. Like, they went past actual ESPN television programming.
You mean the Bel? Yeah, everybody talked about the Belichick thing. It's very bizarre.
Why did they go after our clip
We'll
and
take
not?
it.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. We will take it. Yeah, we
You
will
should
take
sue.
it.
Did they ask you to use it?
They did not, but put credit ESPN
Mike
West
Jones
Palm.
in the office said we should sue them.
No, come on, God, man. It's not how you reciprocate a good deed.
Thanks for the pub. Here's my lawyer.
Boys, quickly on this. There are a lot of people out there who have these wild theories of, does she have dirt on Bill? Is there something like, guys? I love Bill Belichick. I really do. My dad and Bill were close in the 90s when my dad was covering the Browns back in the day. Like, I like Bill a lot. So I want to be careful what I say here. I'm worried. I'm honestly a little worried for Bill. This is weird. I got to come out and say it. This is beyond weird. The fact that they wouldn't answer a simple question on where they met makes me a little worried for Bill Belichick. Can't lie.
73-year-old dating a 24-year-old.
And listen,
I'm not spin it.
Hang on. I'm not knocking that. Fine. Whatever.
You're not knocking that?
Hang on. Let me finish. I'm knocking that they can't talk about where they met. That's a problem.
How are you not knocking the fact that he's a 73-year-old dating a 24-year-old?
Fair play to him. Fair play to him. I don't know. Who am I to judge that? One of my favorite people on the planet, my Uncle Johnny, is 65 years old. His wife is 30 years old. Fair play to him, man. All right? I'm not judging any of that. I am judging the fact that they can't tell where they met. That's insanity.
I disagree with this completely. No 73-year-old needs to be dating a 23-year-old. The difference is, and whenever, none. 50-year age gap, I don't care how you spin it. There's no proper way to spin it.
So this is a progressive society. You're okay if Colin dates Bill Belichick? You think that's normal?
Whatever counts. Whatever he's into.
That was your.
Whatever
that
he's
was how
into.
you spun it into local.
Whatever he's into.
You want to make
guys,
it. You want to make it real.
I'm
Like
being
these are
completely-
fictitious people.
She's like 3 years removed from college.
I'm being completely honest with you guys. My godfather, Uncle Johnny, is married to a 30-year-old, and she's a great person. She's not a gold digger. It's none of that.
When did
all
they
right?
get married? How old was she?
She was 25, and my uncle was 60. So, like, I'm not, I've seen it actually happen and have it actually be a good situation. So I'm not going to sit here and judge a huge age gap. What I will judge is that Bill wasn't the one who cut this off. She cut it off. She got off her perch and said, we're not talking about that.
Wasn't being interviewed. She was like in the corner of the room.
Insanity. You can't talk where you met your
is
girl.
the 50-year age gap. That's the insanity.
You can't talk on where you met. The fact that you can't talk on where you met your girlfriend is crazy.
Because you can tell. I have an inkling where they met.
I'll say it. What is she only fanning? I don't know. Like what? All right,
Can't
whatever.
hypothesize.
Fine.
Can't hypothesize. Who
Whatever.
knows?
Fine. Who cares? It's none of our business. But at the same time, if you can't answer a simple question where you met, that is a problem.
To answer your theory, your hypothesis, I do not think Bill Belichick knows how to operate OnlyFans.
Fair. Fair. But that's what you're
Incorrect.
thinking. That's what you're thinking. So just say it. It's whatever.
There are other means.
He was winning Super Bowls when she was being born. You can't date somebody 50 years younger than you. You can't do that.
Before.
Yeah.
Before.
What year was she? So
correct.
24. She was a 2000s baby?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's horrific.
2001. If
Oh
we're,
my God, she's my age.
2 years. She's 1 year older than you.
Oh my
Hang
God,
on.
she's my
CK.
sister's age. It's my
Yeah.
sister. My sister is 24 years old.
She's 1 year older than you, Junior.
Someone we're familiar with on the show actually talked about the prospect of your sister coming home with
did he bring
Bill
this up?
Yes.
Oh God.
And said like,
I can't even talk. I'm thinking about this. It's true. Like, what are we coming to Christmas?
like make it real. Do you have a 74-year-old in your life? And do you have a 24 in your life? Yeah. Get in bed.
Dude, stop.
A 20? Like, think
Please
about
stop.
it. What do they even
Oh,
talk
my
about?
God.
What do you even talk about?
Listen,
What do you talk about? I'm not. Listen. To Mike's point, you can't judge a relationship too much, but ethically, 73 years old, dating a 24-year-old, a 50. He's got her beat by 2 lifetimes. That to me, this is stupid. This is a waste of time. I don't know how you spin it that this is a proper relationship, because it's not.
I'm like the way she snapped at the reporter. I'm legitimately worried for Bill Belichick. Like she's like holding something over him or something crazy.
And UNC has every right to be nervous.
Oh my God,
they got every right.
This woman is running the show.
Is she going to be the offensive coordinator?
That's what I was about to say. She's Kyle Christian. She's running the show.
Is she going to be?
She's running the show.
Is she going to be calling the plays? Jeez.
Is she head of NIL? Like
I don't know.
Yeah. So where'd you guys meet? We're not talking about that. What? Who are you? Where'd you come from? I'm talking to Bill.
And
no, we're not talking about that.
People do this all the time. Like DiCaprio is always slandered for this because he's always dating like a 22-year-old model. Leonardo DiCaprio's in his 40s or 50s, whatever it is. This is a 73-year-old. 73 years old. Listen, you could have a conversation if you're in your 50s. 73? There is such a disconnect. I don't know. This is weird. We got to move on.
Number 4.
Yeah, in other news, the Lakers, they host the Timberwolves tonight.
Oh,
they're down 3-1 in LA. Believe it or not, Luka and LeBron are one game away from going home. Do the Lakers have a chance to come back and win this series, or is it already over?
I lean the side that it's already over, but you almost think about it. When the Lakers got two great players in LeBron and Luka, you almost think anything's possible because of just the star power. But I read something interesting on Twitter the other day about how the NBA has not turned into you're only as good as your best player. You're only as bad as your worst player.
Yeah.
And Luka and Reeves, what they provide defensively, can be exploited so consistently that you almost think it's too far gone. The Lakers have a blatant weakness. The Timberwolves do not. That has been the difference in that series. And it's been close, and closing the game has been important for Anthony Edwards and company. I don't think they're going to come back here. I could see them winning tonight, but I do not think they're going to win this series.
I think they've packed their bags. They're going to Cancun. That team stinks. I'm going to call it for what it is. Luka's great. LeBron's great. Reeves will, all right. Outside of that team stinks. They had 6 bench points in the 113-116 loss versus the Timberwolves. They have 3 NBA players on that roster. What do we always say? They need to retool. Go into the offseason, have J.J. Redick get with Rob Pelinka. Pelinka's great. Retool. Retool the whole roster. You'll be back next year. Take advantage of that. But I got to say, it's a bit of a disgrace that they're knocked out of the first round with LeBron James and Luka Doncic.
I agree.
It's a disgrace.
You can't lose in 5 games. You can't lose in 5 games in the first round.
That's a disgrace. But at the same time, I understand why they did lose in 5 games because they legitimately have 3 NBA pros on the roster.
I mean, what have they won 2 playoff games in the last 3 years? With LeBron on the team?
And now Luka.
With LeBron and Anthony Davis, 2 top 10 players, consensus, and Luka. You've had 2 of the 3 of them on the team at one time. And they lose in 5 to the Nuggets, and then they got swept, and now they're might lose in 5 again? Oh my God. What is that, 12-2 in playoff games? Or 2-12, I should say? With LeBron James on the team? That's a bad look.
But listen, DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle. Hell, Mike Conley, the savvy Buckeyes giving him minutes. I mean, that's a team. That's a basketball team. Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, Jordan Good.
They're not even playing them. They're not even playing them.
But that's right. They got 3 players.
They got 4 players. But yes, they can't even play them. I mean, they can play them, they
Kyle
don't
Hayes,
play them.
Hachimura.
Yes. He had 20 points last game. That would be my takeaway. But the thing is, that team is not bad enough where you play 5 out of 5 players for the entirety of the second half because no other coach has done it. Just because Redick's the new guy in the block does not mean that was the right decision. That's what he did in Game 4. Didn't play a single other person other than his starting 5 with Dorian Finney-Smith in the second half of Game 4.
41 minutes for Finney-Smith.
Number 5.
The NFL has fined Atlanta Falcons $200,000. Ulrich $100,000 for his son taking Shadur Sanders' number off his dad's iPad and prank calling him that he got selected. Does the punishment fining the Falcons $200,000 and the defensive coordinator who was reckless with his iPad, does the punishment fit the crime?
Now, Kyle, if I could start us, I've seen some very expensive phone calls within the last couple of years. Mel Tucker probably has the most expensive phone call. I believe he lost like $60 million or something from Michigan State. Former Michigan State head coach, by the way. Remember, he was calling some woman who works for the university, got fired, whatever. That was the $60 million, close to whatever $1 million phone call that he had on that contract still left.
Shannon Sharp?
I wasn't going to go there. But the next phone call is this one, Colin, and it's 100. Hey, Dad, sorry, but the phone call I made is going to cost you $100,000.
It reminds me of going over your minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Rizzo
Growing
knows.
up. Free on the weekends, though, Seacat. Don't you forget. Free on the weekends, calling the girls. Anyway,
I saw some
Kyle,
reporters
100 grand,
online.
100 grand for a phone call.
I saw some
Hope you
reporters
got it.
online saying, "How about why isn't the kid being punished? What are you gonna do? Shoot him? Like what? It's a 21-year-old who made a prank call to a player, and 100 players get prank called every year in the NFL draft. This is not the first time this has happened.
Get him community service.
If we punished every teenager who said your refrigerator's running, well, you better go catch it.
Right?
We're in trouble.
And he's a 20-year-old. I know he's not a child. But still, this kid was pulling practical crank. He swindled a millionaire? Boo-hoo. I mean, geez, move on with your life.
Yeah, his punishment is the court of public opinion. He's embarrassed. He's a loser, and we all know that now. That's kind of enough.
Or give him community service. Make him,
service?
make him go to a ranch.
Make him pick up
Make
trash
him,
outside the highway?
No. Make him be a ranch hand. You guys want to hear an insane community service story that I have? My boy Biker Brad. So Biker Brad, we were at Ohio University at the time. He got in trouble. Whatever.
With the law.
ID, whatever, okay? He was at a bar. He wasn't supposed to be there. All right. They gave him community service. He was a ranch hand. The first thing that he saw when he got to this said ranch, they had to kill a horse, guys. They shot the horse in the head and said, all right.
With the compressor?
Pick him up. They said, pick him up. My buddy had to pick up a dead horse the first moment he landed his community service at this ranch. Make the kid be a ranch hand.
What
Have
are you
him work
talking
around.
about? Who's making him be a ranch hand?
Just,
Who's
that's
the government body? Like,
yeah, whoever is in charge of disciplining the young man.
NFL?
Have him go be a ranch hand. My boy Biker Brad had to pick up a dead horse in southeastern Ohio. That'll teach him a lesson.
Tell you what, with how long this story is, he might as well beat it.
Is that not the dumbest thing in the world, punishing this kid?
The dead horse. He's beating the dead horse.
There you go.
You tried.
Good joke.
Can you talk? Like, I don't
It's funny.
understand.
I'll give you a
How
Christian.
are we going to punish the kid here? This is the dumbest thing in the world. He made it. The only reason people care is because it was Shedeur Sanders. That's the only reason that people care. You swindled a millionaire and he thought he was going to get picked. Everybody thought he was going to get picked.
Abdul Carter, there's reports he got, not by the same people, prank called, but Abdul Carter got a phone call too.
Cooper, I saw one with Isaiah Bond who went undrafted. That guy should get more compensation.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah, that one is a little rough. Abdul Carter happened to Cooper DeJean last year with the Packers calling him.
I know a farm in southeastern Ohio we could give community service to for all these kids, so don't
What are
worry.
you talking about? What are you
Go be a ranch hand for a couple
Have him
hours.
clean the oceans?
They'll teach him.
Father, Jeff Ulbrich, the DC, that's who should be levying the punishment.
Hey,
Do you
Dad.
think that he should call him up and ship him to the in-laws?
Hey, Dad, yeah, dude, sorry about that $100,000 phone call, but I hope you have it.
And this is
I hope you have it, Pop.
$100,000 is heavy.
Yeah,
It's
I was gonna
heavy
say
for a
for-
coordinator. Yeah, it's heavy.
That's heavy.
Very
Coordinator
heavy.
probably makes $1-2 million.
That's why I
a year.
said, Dad, sorry. I hope you got it. I hope you got the $100K.
Well, he definitely does have the money, but I mean, that's absurd to me that they're going to the Falcons $250,000. I mean, this is nothing to Arthur Blank, so I'm not worried about that.
He's got it.
This is stupid. We're going to $350,000 for a prank phone call only because it's Shedeur Sanders that people care. Only because it's him. That's the dumbest thing in the world. The NFL conducted an investigation, and they concluded that it was left on an iPad.
Well, to be fair, we can't just have phone numbers being willy-nilly if you enter the NFL draft. That's now public domain.
Well, clearly it wasn't just Ulbrich. Clearly these are getting out via you didn't close the only hole in the bottom in the
Well,
water bowl.
as Roger Goodell, this'll teach him a lesson.
Adam Schefter went and talked about it on his podcast, and he said it was highly irregular that the personal phone number was sent out to the distribution list to the entire NFL. Normally, it's the agent's phone number. But since Sanders was not working through an agent, that's why his personal number, the number that was going for the draft, got leaked to the wrong hand.
Well, how did we get Abdul Carter?
Yeah, I don't know. That's news today that was not discussed by Schefter yet.
Right. So these guys get prank called all the time. All right. Find a better system. I don't know. Get a landline. Do it that way. Whatever it might be. This NFL, what good does that money do you? $350,000? Oh, my God. Go get started. Start your day off with a victory over at F45 downtown West Palm Beach. Locations in Palm Beach Gardens and Wellington as well. F45, more the functional side of working out. So if you're somebody that's trying to get a little bit more flexible, more functionally strong, you don't want to necessarily feel stiff in the morning when you go there. 45-minute classes, like-minded fitness individuals, loud music blaring. And it's more of the high-intensity interval training. It's not like Olympic lifts, something that I was used to coming into it. But now I feel better. My heart rate, it just gets raised. You get a bit of a sweat going, and then you can talk to a bunch of cool people before, after, and during. 2 coaches on site making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and also safely. If you're looking to train for something like High Rocks, do a big-time race, F45 also caters to that. If you start today, you get your first 3 classes for just $30. They got classes in the morning, and they got classes in the afternoon. You can catch me there in the mornings because I think it's important to start your day off with a victory. Go start your day off with a win at F45 downtown West Palm Beach. Check out their Instagram today, F45 downtown West Palm Beach.
And maybe if you are in your 70s and you go to F45 enough, you'll pick up a 24-year-old, like Bill Belichick probably did.
Yeah, Bill Belichick had a couple classes at F45 all of a sudden. At F4, maybe that would have been a believable story.
If you met her at F45.
Bill, if you met her at F45, I would have bought it.
Yeah, you took the plane to PBI. Then you went to F45. That's where you met Miss Hudson.
No, where'd you guys meet? No, all right, that's it. We're done here.
Great. Is she in first class? What, they meet at the gate? Who talks to anybody at the gate?
She only fanning? I mean, what's going on?
I don't know.
What's going on?
I think you'd be able to find that if that was the case. There's a digital footprint to that, right?
Well, you know, there is a digital footprint to other allegations, too.
Other allegations. Interesting. We got to take a time out.
We were all thinking it. I just said it.
The URL is not very creative.
Okay. Christian Cat, Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? If you're the victim of a car crash, you will always speak to a lawyer. You'll always get the highest standard of care from our dedicated legal team, and we'll always fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Don't wait. Call 1-800-747-FREE. In office, West Palm Beach.
Wing Wednesday, brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Mike Rizzo here with the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. When you think of big-time college football conferences, you're thinking of the SEC and you're thinking of the Big Ten. The SEC dominated with the likes of Alabama and Nick Saban for years. Kirby Smart and Georgia two-peated. The last two national championships reside in the Big Ten with the Buckeyes and the Wolverines. The ACC, the Big 12, they're kind of nipping at the feet a little bit of the two conferences, but believe it or not, the Pac-12 is still around. It consists of Washington State and Oregon State, and they just completed a 13-package TV deal that'll be spread across the CW, CBS, and ESPN. Can the Pac-12 come back? This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management Program.
Introducing the bold, the powerful, the all-new 2025 Range Rover Sport P530 Dynamic SE. A luxury SUV that commands attention with its refined design, dynamic performance, and cutting-edge technology. Lease the 2025 Range Rover Sport for just $1529 per month for 36 months. Drive in style, power, and comfort, all for just $1529 a month. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take the new Range Rover Sport for a spin. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Two teams, they're back against the wall tonight. The Houston Rockets and the Los Angeles Lakers down 3-1 in their respective series. 7:30 p.m. tip-off for the Rocket game and then 10 p.m. tip-off for the T-Wolf game. Funny enough, if there's a player that you want to bet on to get, again, with his back against the wall, I don't know if there's a safer bet than like somebody like Jamal Murray, who, unbelievable, once again, 43 points when they needed it most in Game 5 of the Nugget-Clipper game last night. But more importantly, since you got all this action going on right now, there's no better place to be than Hard Rock Bet.
Absolutely. Colin mentioned the NBA playoffs. It's such a great time to put a little action into that Hard Rock Bet app. Also, spring is in the air with baseball. And if you actually go to our @ESPN West Palm Instagram, I have a parlay going, and for once, it's alive. My baseball parlay is alive because...
How many games?
Yeah, so 4 legs. We have 4 legs. The Tigers already took care of their side. They won 7-4 in Houston. Michael King on the bump for the Padres, still pitching. They're up 4-0 at home versus the Giants. The final 2 legs are the Cubbies at the Pirates. And then the last leg, Colin, is probably the most worrisome, the Yankees at the Orioles. The Yankees have Cookie Carrasco on the bump. They're just coming off of a loss.
No, the Yankees won last night. They had 16 runs last night.
Rather Cookie Carrasco is what I'm worried about on that end. He has not been good for the Yankees really this year, but if we get those two games at night, we're going to turn $20 into $210, and you could do the same thing with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet. And also, like, imagine turning $25 into $62,000. That's exactly what a Florida bettor did. He hit on a 20-leg parlay. He turned $25 into $62,000. So, folks, download that app today. That is the Hard Rock Bet app. You can get it on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and physically present in the state of Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you're concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. That is 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Oh, Kyle, I feel like I just put the malarkey on that parlay by talking about it. You're never supposed to talk about it.
The Yankees, weirdly enough, that's your final pick. They're at Camden Yards. It's the second time this season, first MLB team in history to ever do it, to lead the game off with 3 straight home runs. And they did it on opening day. And they did it again last night at Camden Yards with 3 straight homer shots.
Let's hope we get a couple of those. And the Cubbies at the Pirates, I'm like so confident about that. Watch that be the one that kind of ruins it. But Pete Crow Armstrong, one of my favorite young players in the MLB, he's been hot as a blow.
The second game they've played all year against a team that is under 500.
Yeah.
Every game they played before this, they played a team above 500.
I mean, they played the Dodgers 3 times, counting the Tokyo
They have the
series.
easiest remaining schedule from now until the end of the year because they had to deal with 20-some-odd games against teams strictly above 500.
And to
give them credit.
To Count's point, they're 18-12 and 9-5 on the road in those games.
Got to give them credit there. The Yankees, I mean, there's something about that stadium, that ballpark, Camden Yards. They dominate that ballpark consistently. And
did they move the fences back?
Yeah, it was like the anti-Yankee wall,
Yankees.
and they moved it. They kind of cut the difference between then and now, but that was to try to limit the damage where the Yankees were just abusing, namely Aaron Judge.
They destroy that ballpark.
Like Gleyber Torres is going yard every game.
They kill that ballpark. I don't know what it is. And Kyle Gibson came back for the Orioles, and they had 3 straight home run shots to start off the game. Aaron Judge's hitting .412. He's hitting .412. He is an unbelievable hitter. He's unpitchable. We talk about this every week. It's getting worse.
Man.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. And he's got no support around him. He's got Goldschmidt and Trent Grisham, and that is it.
The what could have been if and when they do automatic balls and strikes, if Aaron Judge had a true strike zone, we're talking about better than Bond's numbers. Because of how many low strikes get called on that gargantuan human being that is Aaron Judge. If he got a true strike zone, it would be even worse.
The only pitch I ever see Judge chase, really, is that slider on the outside corner. It's about the only pitch I'll ever see him chase, but the discipline of him at the plate is unrivaled right now. I would start bondsing him. I would start Barry Bondsing him in the sense of just walking him. And
leading off the inning, no one on.
Go ahead. Put him on.
You cannot hurt us as much as you can in the box.
Hey, do you hit your wrist? I forget what the motion is in the dugout.
I think you do 4.
Yeah, that's
you
it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. The wrist is when you want the right ear or the lefty out of the
He's been great in the field. He is unbelievable at bat. He doesn't have a lot of support around him. The rest of the Yankees, we wanted to run home about the torpedo bats. Well, look at the guys who Anthony Volpe and Chaz Chisholm have been awful.
And Chaz, didn't he get hurt last night? Wasn't he limping last night?
Did.
Around the bags? Yeah.
Unbelievable. He is he is Ted Williams. Judges. He is Ted Williams.
I'm laughing because it's true right now.
He is as good at baseball as anybody is in their respective sport.
Until it starts getting cold out, right? Until you get
It's weird. I don't understand the discrepancy, but you want to run home about Bonds. He's better than Bonds because Bonds was juicing.
Stop.
And that's when Bonds' numbers exploded. Bonds was a great hitter before that, but he wasn't this. Judge is an unbelievable, and maybe Judge, who knows? Maybe he is juicing, but he is an unbelievable at-play talent. He's waiting for that 1 year where he's got to put together in the postseason.
I don't think he's juicing, Colin. I mean, look at the human being that he is.
No,
it should be on the basketball court playing power forward for the Lakers.
The last 4 years of Judge, 3.5, has been as good of a hitting prime as we have ever seen in the history of this league.
Maybe Judge can. I wouldn't like it for my bet, Colin, but maybe Judge could suit up and play 4 tonight for the Lakers. I'm sure he'd be better than Jared Vanderbilt coming off the bench.
He is hitting Don't hate on Vanderbilt. He should be playing more. Stop it. But Judge, he's hitting .412. He's got a 1,200 OPS. He leads the league in average OBP, slugging, OPS. He's second in RBIs. He's third in homers. He's all over the place. Unbelievable.
It really is funny how the narrative was early in his career, and rightfully so, because the numbers dictate it as such. Home run or strikeout? Home run or strikeout?
And he's striking out like 18% or 19% of his at-bat. He's been like a career low for him in terms of strikeouts.
And he's spraying the ball all over the field. He kind of went on a home run drought for a little bit, but that's been broken recently. He can do it any which way.
And this is the same guy who hit like 220 in April last year, and then was still put together the season that he did. And now he completely flipped it around, and he's had an unreal start to the season. And this is when people can pitch around him.
Yeah.
You got Ben Rice leading off. Really? And Grisham's been great. I can't hate on Trent Grisham.
Hey, better than Juan Soto, who they took to relieve salary cap for the Padres for Soto.
Right.
Austin Wells is,
has been bad.
No, he's been hitting homers.
No, he's been bad.
But he's been hitting
like
homers.
And Volpe has been awful. Jazz Chisholm has been awful. Bellinger has been awful. They got half the lineup. They can't even hit. And this guy's hitting .412. How does that work?
The AL it's the most.
You're better off hitting him.
Like last year, unless you're a delusional Mike Rizzo, you knew that the Yankees were going to come out of the AL. This year, I have no idea. I think in our previews count, I picked the Rangers, and they could very well still happen. But it is so doggone wide open. With especially I thought the Red Sox would be better. I thought a plethora of teams would be better.
Jeff
than
Passan of ESPN put out some good after one season statistics today online on ESPN.com, and he said the National League is just so much better.
It's not even
than
close.
The American League, and he starts bringing up the ERA comparisons, the home run comparisons, the batting average comparisons, the slugging comparisons, and the reason that the run differential, the NL is like plus 70 or 69 or something like that, and the Rockies are minus 80. And they are completely, dwindled the bottom of the totem pole for the NL. Other than that, it's been outstanding.
They've juiced up the numbers.
They have. They've hurt them.
They're historically bad,
historically bad. They're, what are they, 4-25? That team is in a worse position than Chicago was last year.
Let's go through the teams. LA, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Cubs. I know they've been struggling. I'm throwing the Diamondbacks in there. I think those teams are better than anything the AL has, and that's 4 teams. You could probably still make the argument for the Phillies.
Absolutely.
Atlanta, Colin, is hot. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're starting to figure things out a little bit. Realistically, 5 to 6 teams that are better than the best AL team out there.
Who would have thought that the Colorado Rockies, who aren't necessarily the cheapest bunch in the world, they're 5-25.
Yeah,
they're not. It's not the cheapest owner in the league. It's not, and they're 5-25. They haven't won back-to-back. They're 0-9 against left-handed pitching. They're 1-15 at night.
They're 1-14 on the road, too. They can't play on the road. If you're hosting the Rockies, congratulations on winning 2 out of 3.
Their run differential is minus 77. That is unbelievable. And the rest of the NL is just skyrocketed. It's very bizarre. I don't understand. The AL is not that good. Boston will probably figure it out. Detroit and the Yankees have sort of separated themselves amongst the other ranks. But the one thing is, you're right, it's the NL and then the bunch. That's it.
There's really 5-6 teams in the NL, and then, it's the American League.
And then in terms of players, it's Judge and then everybody else.
Hey, Bobby Witt's great.
It's Judge, everybody else.
Justice for Bobby Witt. I know he's not having the season he did last year, but he's still a great player. I think Gunnar Henderson is a great player, too. He's struggling.
It's Judge, then the rest.
I get it, but
that's it.
I understand.
He's hitting .412. I got to say that. He's hitting .412.
And hang on. Guards are 2 games behind the Tigers.
We're 30 games into the season. He's hitting .412. He's got a 1,200 OPS. This is Aaron Judge. And he doesn't have Juan Soto opening him up. He's got nobody around him.
How about the Mets? You guys ready to eat your crow on the Mets?
No, they've played 20 teams below 500. No.
So, 21-9, 13-1 at home.
They're having a great year. I agree with that. And I took that under. I'm still going to ride by that. But, if I'm sitting there on the Mets, they're banking on the pitching right now because the hitting, other than Alonso and Lindor, has not been great. So maybe they're banking on Vientos and even Soto. Soto hasn't hit that well. Soto to start to figure it out, and they probably will. But I also bank on that pitching to not keep it up. Yeah, they haven't even had Montas and Minaya.
David Peterson, to your point, he's like the 5th starter. He's 2-1 with a sub-3 ERA. He's been pitching out of his mind.
Yeah, so is Clay Holmes. Like they've pitched very, very well.
But I
don't know if that's sustainable. They also haven't had a hard schedule
I like
at all.
That team has mojo, though. Like, dating back to last year. That's why I bought in on them. And they added the best player, and one of the best players
Not the best player in baseball.
He's one of them. He's probably the better postseason out of the two, but I understand.
Judge is a better player. Judge is the best player in
the
baseball.
Postseason, though?
Judge is the best player in baseball. It's unbelievable. He's the best player in baseball by a long shot.
Better than Ohtani?
Yes.
Ohtani's
I would
struggling
take Ohtani tomorrow.
I
would take Judge tomorrow.
Over Ohtani?
Right now. Yeah.
Wow. I'm not there yet, but
I would. Ohtani hasn't pitched in 2 years. You're taking hitter versus hitter. You're taking Ohtani? No, you're not. Ohtani hasn't pitched in 2.5 years.
You're on to something there, but I'm still banking on Ohtani being able to pitch at some degree.
Yeah. Judge, we're looking at the greatest hitting prime in a century of baseball. That is how good he has been. It is unbelievable. I was dumbfounded for the last 10 minutes. Unbelievable. Aaron Judge, Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat.
And the rest of the AL.
It's been Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Appreciate it. You tuning in. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. Missed any of the program? Listen back at Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. All those great places. Streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X. Colin Russo and Mike saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow right here on ESPN 106.3.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types